This is Alex Cook once again with my film review series. Today I'll be continuing my book to film adaptations by talking about the young adult novel Coraline. Coraline is the story of a 9-year-old girl who is completely bored with her average and ordinary life, so instead she goes looking for adventure. In her search, she finds a door in the mysterious part of her house that seemingly leads to nowhere. However, after going through the door, she finds a parallel world to hers where everything is much better and everyone is much nicer. The only strange difference, everybody has buttons for eyes. The search and story then turns into a question of what is real and what is not, as well as trying to save herself and her family. The film adaptation is phenomenal. This is one of my favorite book to film adaptations, and I constantly reference it as being one of the best adaptations of a film. Extremely because it stays so true to the story. It takes exactly what a novel should do. It does exactly what an adaptation should do. It takes the novel and just makes it into a movie. It does also add a few characters that are not in the book, but also helps um because it they further the plot line. Like one character they add is in the book she doesn't have any friends, but in the movie they give her a friend named Wiley, whose grandmother actually also knew about the door and was trying to prevent anybody else from going through the door because of what happened to her sister. The book was written by Neil Gaiman and was actually later adapted into a graphic novel before it was adapted into a movie. And that's an interesting thought because it's the idea of turning a book, which is a written adaptation, into a visual adaptation, a graphic novel, and then and then again into a visual adaptation, a movie. It was also one of the first movies to start coming out in the 3D, now that everybody's so used to. And honestly, it shows because the 3D is just awful. It's so awful. Um, I still remember watching it, and they had like paper glasses, not the nice Buddy Holly glasses that everyone has, but like these paper things with green and purple lenses. It was just awful, and it ruined the color of the film, which really sucked because the colors in this film are so bright and vibrant. Actually, I should correct myself. The whole idea of the parallel worlds is that one is boring but safe and one is exciting but dangerous. And in the boring world, the colors are very muted, they're very grayscale, but they're still there. While in the parallel world, the colors are so bright and vibrant, it creates a duality, which is something I really love about the story. For being a young adult novel, it's one of the best because it deals with so many issues of family and what should you expect out of your family, how do you love your family, all those kinds of things. The book itself is not a very long read. It's only about 200 pages, and the graphic novel is actually even shorter. And the movie itself is 2 hours long, but it definitely falls into the category of movies for children that really aren't for children, because some of the images in the film are just frightening. Honestly, obviously the parallel universe is the bad one. And again, I'm gonna go into spoilers, so the mother is in the parallel world is obviously is the villain, and there's one image where she just turns into this creature, this demon with like sewing needles for a skeleton, and because there's a very heavy craft theme in the movie, it's not really there in the book. It's kind of an added element to the film, which again I love, because they took the buttons for eyes thing and just ran with it. So there's just so much like sewing, arts and crafts, thread, and they do it even better because it's claymation. But they give her this skeleton made of sewing needles, and it's frightening, and the images they create are just horrifying and so amazing at the same time. So it definitely earns its PG rating. But all in all, I still recommend reading the book first, just because it's always better to read the book first so you have an idea of what's happening, and then you can go into the movie. Plus, since they added a few characters to the movie, you don't want to be going back to the book and be like, well, where's this character? Um, yeah, so that's my review. Read the book, watch the movie, and have a good day.